Welcome, welcome, welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I'm the Liberal 12th Man, and we have the Irishman with us today. And we, of course, have you in the chat that's going to be joining us for just like a little breakdown on the press conference today. We also Jurgen Klopp address the media and tell some updates on some players and tell some updates on some, just basically his viewpoints on certain players. Nothing really, really incredible revelations to go through, but all the same, it's something that we needed to get to say and get to talking about. So I hope that you're well today. Irishman, how are you doing today?
Very well, very well. Hope everyone in the chat is doing well too. So just like everyone, just saying, look after yourselves out there, be safe,
Yeah, absolutely. Our thoughts and prayers are with JK, with what some of the he's going through some things right now. So definitely,
absolutely,
definitely appreciate everything that he contributes, but also appreciate that he can have the space and time that he needs to get his life and his family and everything else that's going on in this world, be the support that he is. It's incredibly important. So we wish you the best, brother.
Absolutely.
I wanted to go over the press conference. Brian, did you get to see the press conference, by the way? Hopefully you did.
I was out shopping for appliances.
Okay.
So I had a great afternoon. So I picked up on what the usual, the guy in the car park afterwards, David Lynch, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
the guy in the car park. I'm sure he loves. I'm sure he loves.
He loves that.
Yeah.
Change his channel name to Guy in the Car Park.
Yeah, that would be a pretty a pretty funny show title for sure. It would definitely get your interest. Be like, what the heck? Guy in the car park.
he's got the scoop as well. He's always straight out the doors first on the first upload usually. So
yeah, absolutely.
He gave a little shout there for Endo.
Yeah.
Which is what the bit that stuck out for me. But just like all good news, mainly about people coming back. But one maybe little knock for Endo potentially, but not a lot to worry about. But it all seemed like pretty good news.
Yes, it did. It did. It made me say, like, we're getting there. It's a process. We all understand that there's a process in getting everyone back into the stages of being able to be ready to contribute, be ready to be part of the team once again. But it's stages. I mean, what was very, very encouraging is Bashetic is going to be fully in. He's with the U21s right now, but he's going to be fully with the team in that next upcoming week. He spoke on Curtis Jones being able to be a part of the club, or being in practice again, which again, I mean, it brings up that question of does a fully Curtis Jones make a problem in essence for your selections, Brian? Or I know it's a welcome problem. I understand that moniker, but like does it make it a problem in the sense of saying how do you get these guys really the minutes that they deserve? Is that something of an issue now? Maybe that we're going to have to really address, and maybe the reason why we've had by having these injuries, it kind of like didn't necessarily, it kind of circumvented the problem of having so many capable players.
Of course, yeah. Look, we knew you have 3 spots there, and we always had 5. Say 5. Some people say 6. You say 5. I'd say 6. I'd say Elliott, Gravenberch, Jones, and then the 3 that are all are starting recently, and Endo, Mac, and Szoboszlai.
Mm-hmm.
So I always thought they were sort of the second 3, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But Jones, especially when Endo wasn't able to find his feet, and Mac was playing 6, Jones was getting a lot of time then. But I think it is a problem for Curtis. Yeah, I don't think it's a problem for the manager. but I think it's a problem for Curtis how he gets his place back. How
Yes,
he
yes. That's the
says,
point. Yeah,
"Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm starting now." Well,
yeah,
why? You know, tell me why, Curtis. You know, I can't. There's straight, you know, that song reference number one of the night. So,
yeah, yeah.
like, how does he get back in? Yeah, does he get lucky again, and we end up with Endo being out,
Hmm.
and he gets to start? Because I don't want to
Hmm.
see that now. If Endo is out,
That brings
and
up another. Right. We don't want to see more
no,
injuries, obviously. Right. Yeah,
no,
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
but it's the only way sometimes, really, isn't like he's been out for so long now that he has well and truly. It's not like one of those things where Virgil is out, or well, no, Virgil isn't a fair shout, but say a Canade is out and
Right.
he's out for a day, but you know that this day after that he's back. He's back.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have that kind of seniority in his position.
Hmm.
So when he does lose that position, no matter how good he was playing, it's kind of McAllister or Szoboszlai's spot that he has to take. And I find it hard to see how that happens when all those three guys are fit.
That's really big question. That's what I was like. As in, I know we all love the oh, like, you hear it often. You hear that, oh well, it's a healthy problem, or it's a welcome problem to have. When you have all these guys fit, but now it possibly is the biggest problem that you're going to have, and that is, how do you keep these guys happy, involved, and you know what I mean, like, as in, and really engaged in the way that is going to get the best out of them, and we all know Curtis wants to start. We all know that, like,
Jeez.
good number of these players, good number of these guys do not like being subbed out. They don't like being, they want to play
No.
the full 90, basically, and Curtis definitely fits into that moniker. I don't know if the chat thinks different. Please do tell us, please do tell us. Cause, like, I would love to hear what their opinion is too. Cause I know that my opinion is, now Klopp is really going to have to figure out, okay, well, a healthy Curtis, I've said this time and time again. I've said Curtis is one of the most essential players, I think, in this system, because he knows the system so well, and he's actually been, I guess you could say, structured or manicured into the perfect player for this club, for this team. When it comes
To
to that.
me, to me,
Go ahead.
he's our fourth for three. If you know what I mean.
Say one more time.
He's our fourth for three.
Oh,
If you know,
okay.
so like there's three spots.
Mm-hmm. That's
And he's
interesting.
the fourth. He's that fourth guy.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it's like if something, he's always going to be the first to get to start. Yeah, like Ian is saying, there are games every 3 days.
Yeah, I see that. I see
It's
that. Yeah.
rest and rotation.
Rest and rotation will be big.
But
Yeah.
what I always say is when it comes to this kind of thing is, let's just hypothetically say that we have a European Cup final tomorrow. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we're playing Bayern Munich in the European Cup final tomorrow, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is fit
Right.
and they're playing well. Right, everyone's fit and they're playing well. Does
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
start? Does he start? I don't think he does. I think it's Endo,
Wow.
Szoboszlai, McAllister would be
Wow.
our
Okay.
three in midfield.
Okay.
I think he would just, if he could pick from everyone and they're all playing well, I think that midfield three that I just named is our
It's
best
basic. So you
midfield
got
three.
Endo starting. Endo certainly starting in the sixth. That's
Yeah.
pretty much a no-brainer now. I think Endo has solidified himself as being that sixth, that DM that we need. Pretty much, we've gone away from that hybrid DM, and we've basically orchestrated ourselves into that more traditional destroyer role, right? We can say that safely, right? And now, now it's just a matter of these two eights that are going to be in front of them, that are going to be somewhat interchangeable, because we've seen that too. We've seen, Dom play on the right and the left during the game, and vice versa with Maka. So you need a fluid style of an eight system. And then if you get into that, who you're going to put into those two eights, you're saying that it's going to be Maka possibly on the right or the left, first off. Because Maka is obviously, and I'm sure the chat will agree with this one, Maka is obviously the first selection that you make as being a starter, correct?
Yeah, see, now we're down to one.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
I
the thing.
know.
It's not even fighting for three place. He's now actually, when you think about it, Endo is in, Mac is in, so now it's only one place.
Right. Right.
So it's him or Dom. I know you're going to go there. So you're.
Right.
This is where we've arrived at. So if I say to you, they're both fit, they're both in good form. Who are you putting in?
Well, I was going to ask this too, though. This is the reason I get the earlier comment that I made, which are being about two
Yeah,
fluid eights.
yeah.
But just from the starting role, the starting position, just to get a kind of frame of mind of what we're thinking. Do you even start Mac on the right, or do you start Mac on the left? I know they're going to be interchangeable, but like as in just to start off the game, where do you start him off from? Do you start him from the right, or do you start him from the left? Because we've seen him. I think that like and seeing the versatility, the creativity, the ability of this guy, having him by obviously the one our focal point of our offense being Mo, that triangle becomes a powerful triangle by having him on the right. But we've seen that triangle with the work ethic of Dom on the right side. It's almost like two different, styles of play when it comes to either Dom or Maka. So do you start him on the right, or do you start him on the left? And in the chat, please do tell me your ideas too.
I like him on the left of the midfield three, so he can receive the ball on his right more. He can turn more naturally. I don't think he lets you down on either side. I don't think at all. The way he, like the way he's been playing the last few games. But yeah, you saw Dominic Szoboszlai over on that left hand side, pushing really high up.
Right.
But I think just probably on the left slot. If I had to pick one, I'd happy to put him either where. But I think he just goes there. Which, yeah, and like you said, in the game, they're all playing in kind of the same area if they need to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I would, if it was pushed, I'd be putting him on the left of Endo.
Okay. So then, because I asked that too because we really haven't seen Curtis play too much on the right side. Primarily, we've seen Curtis play on that left.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's why I'm asking that question, because okay, well then, who's your more natural selection for that right midfielder? And if you do
Curtis is very left-sided. Definitely, he is. He can play even left wing.
Right.
We gave him a shot out there last year. In one game, I think he was playing out like not playing the Diaz role as such, but he was playing in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he's predominantly that side of the pitch is where he needs to be.
So then again, why I'm breaking it down this way for everyone is just that like, okay, well then if we do say that you want Maka on the left, that means that Curtis is not going to push Maka out. You know what I mean? Like as in you're probably not going to put Maka, or excuse me, you're not going to put Curtis in that right midfielder position. So then the natural selection becomes the guy you have been playing him in that, or the guy you have been playing in that right mid, and that is Dom. So if we're gonna have Mac on the left and Dom on the right, that's kind of like Curtis is the odd man out.
Yeah, that's the phrase, odd man out.
That's yeah. MK Toe says Curtis does go down the left byline sometimes. Yes, he does. Yeah. He certainly does. That's what Brian was just saying. He could play out on that left wing as well. But like it's very interesting because I just think that Curtis was so integral in our attack early in this campaign.
He's got a battle on his hands.
What's that?
He's got a battle on his hands, but we saw how he lost his place. That's how he can win his place. I think he will be obviously disappointed, but he'll know how bad the timing of that was.
Yeah.
And I think he also knew that once Endo was up to speed, that it was going to affect things. Because I think, to me, he's a high quality substitute and then someone who can start. but not someone who starts the biggest games, as it were. But I just think he won't let you down if he does.
I mean, like, I know it's everyone has their own opinions. I mean, like, understand that. I get that. Because I almost look at it like the same way Ginny played for us, like the way that you wouldn't necessarily think of Ginny as being that guy that should and always should start if you had to like rate the other players on ability wise. But
he usually did, yeah.
He usually did. No, that's what I was going to get at, is that he just was that guy that Klopp relied on because he knew what he would get out of him in that role. Yeah. And I think Curtis has definitely developed into that player. And that's why it's very unique and interesting to see like what decisions he makes with that.
Yeah, it's just a numbers game. At the end, like so many things, it just comes down to the numbers game.
Yeah.
You can only go with 11, and someone who, well, 3 people probably who deserve to start will miss in every game. And to be honest, that's how I like it.
This is an interesting question for you. So I'll bring up Ian's statement first. Ian says, think most of his youth career he was left-sided. Curtis, so he could provide cover for Lucho if required.
Oh,
I don't know if he'll play left wing. Yeah.
Like in a serious pinch, he could actually
in a serious pinch maybe
do the job kind of thing.
Yeah, Ian, I agree. Yeah. Also, MK Toe says, how about Curtis as a rotating center mid with both Maka and Dom, with the 3 of them doing DM duties when needed? So they're basically going away from the DM and moving into more of a center midfielder role as opposed to a DM role for our midfield. Yeah, and then they would just then you would have just a fluid rotation of the 3 of them kind of filling in, because Curtis has played DM before. He has played for the international team. Excuse me. We all know that we've seen Maka play DM for us as well. And could Dom probably play? I mean, Dom, we all appreciate and acknowledge Dom has defensive skills, defensive skill sets, but
can't do everything though.
Right, exactly.
He can't do all. Sure. I don't think he's. I'm not sure we could do it. But no, look, that's what I think he will be. Will be that guy that kind of weaves in and out of the team, so that Maka and Sabazze aren't playing 90 every game.
Right.
And I
always thought of it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just think of him, say a midfield 3 with him on the left and Elliot on the right, and then someone we don't have basically in the middle. If we weren't playing Endo, like I don't see we've forgotten about Gravenberch as well.
Yeah,
I mean we haven't even Gravenberch.
We haven't even spoken about Gravenberch.
Conversation.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we're going to be mixing in Bajcetic into this mix pretty soon.
Next week, he said, didn't he? He said next week, full training.
Next week. We already, and also we're missing out on the sheer fact of saying we got Elliot, because we all know we all prefer Elliot in that right midfielder role, or at least in the midfield role period, than we do in seeing him in that right wing role. So you got to mix in Elliot into that role. Obviously, that pushes some of these youth players like Clark further, into the, hey, it's been real, but you're probably not going to be getting the call up this week. Excuse me, for this matchup. Just simply because we got to have a balance of midfielders, forwards, and obviously defenders, and we have to keep an extra goalkeeper on the bench at one point. So I mean, there's only so many spots that are going to be left for a lot of these players. So it's going to be really interesting to see where and what we do with a lot of these players, don't you think?
Yeah, there's, like you said, it's great. And as I was talking about earlier on during the season, it was fantastic to see all of these kids coming through, but they only came through because we had injuries.
Right. Yeah.
It was circumstance, but it worked out well. But as the guys come back, these boys will drop away.
Yeah.
back to their under 23s, under 21s,
Mhm.
and get back to their proper development. Whereas someone like a Bradley will probably stick around now.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
know.
the Clark,
Yeah.
McConnell,
Yeah.
Dans, Kumas, they'll all go back.
Do you
You
not?
know,
Do you see? So, for instance, like, okay, so if we were thinking about who would be the bench, we're not going to go into the starting lineup because we're going to do a lead in and a watch along tomorrow for the game. Um, for this particular circumstance, um, who do you see as being like the players that we would call up to be on that bench? Then, yeah, that's a big question.
I think all those boys that they were just mentioning there. I think Gravenberch should be on the bench, right?
Okay, yeah,
Jones.
let's do. I'll do a bench. I'll do a bench lineup with you. Let me pull up my. I made a little list, so I'm gonna pull that list up actually too. Let me get to it here. Bear with me, people. I know. I should have had this ready, but it's this got me thinking. Like, as in, I did this for tomorrow actually, so I'm going to pull this up for us. All right, so we know that we're going to be getting that Kanate's back and fully fit. So most likely we will be seeing him possibly in a some capacity, but um,
Bench.
but most likely on the bench.
Well, he
So
played 90 for France.
I know.
So maybe actually that was his. Yeah, that's one actually. I don't think that's as straightforward. I wouldn't be
I know.
surprised. Could be
It'll be
Kwanzaa.
a surprise to where how how we go about like that with the Kanate thing is going to be interesting. It's actually bring the way that we're treating this. It's actually starting. It's brought up a little bit of concern for me. A little bit. I'm just saying that out loud. In that it has brought up a little bit of concern if we have to keep these like, kid gloves on when it comes to trying to get the most out of Kanate and how we're gonna have to like basically really monitor his minutes and as such. But let's just think about it. Let's think about it. So I have Elliott on the bench, right? Let's
Yeah.
go through it out loud. So we would have Elliott on the bench. That's a pretty much a
Yeah.
given. We have
And
Hackbo on the bench. That's pretty
yeah.
much a given, right?
Yeah.
Gravenberch on the bench. That's pretty
Yeah.
much a given.
Yeah.
Adrian is on the bench. That's pretty
Yeah.
much a given, right? So that's now 4 guys right there, at least 5 open spots. We have Simicast on the bench, possibly. Let's just think of it as like if we're going into United matchup or something, or for just in general, Simicast would be on the bench, right?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
So Simicast is on the bench. That's now 5 guys picked out. That leaves 4 spots left. 4 spots left. We already spoke about Bishetic coming back, so that would be 3 spots left. We talked about Curtis Jones coming back. If we're gonna have Curtis on the bench, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That makes it 2 spots left. Now, who do those 2 spots go to?
Well, if Robertson is starting, then Gomez. If Robertson and Trent are starting,
I'm assuming that Robbo is
Bradley and
not
Gomez
available. I was only assuming Robbo isn't available.
Oh, for this, well, Basedic won't be back.
Either. Right. So
won't be back.
Okay. So so technically yes. For this week, Bishetic won't be back.
No,
so
no chance. Yeah. He said next week training, so we can scratch him until after Man United.
6. So that still leaves 3 spots. We have Elliott, we have Hackbo, Gravenberch, Adrian, Simicast, Curtis Jones on the bench. At least 3 spots. Who are those other 3 spots going to then? And that's not including. I mean, like, if Robbo isn't available, right?
I thought Robbo was back.
Is Robbo back?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Let's put Robbo in on the bench just for right now. Let's say Gomez is starting.
So
Just for right now, let's just say that. Okay.
that
To make
would
it easy.
leave us.
That leaves us 2 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Leaves us 2 spots. I'm going with what MK Toe is saying, to be honest with you, in one of those spots. I'm going
We
with
don't
Dan.
have a striker. Yeah, we don't have a forward on that.
Right.
That bench. There's literally nothing even approaching a striker. From that.
Right.
That's all defenders and midfielders.
Right.
Not even a winger. Well, no, sorry, Gakpo is on, but yeah. Yeah, you'd have to have. I think if not Dan's, then who? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'd go with that.
Right. So it'd have to be Dan's, and then who would be the other that ninth spot? Would it go to Clark, McConnell? I mean,
that spot will go to whoever trained best.
that's actually too. You know what? As well, I didn't even think about that. That's Kwanzaa's spot.
If Kanade starts, yeah.
If Kanate starts.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. So there's your bench.
There's your bench. Dan's is the only player now that would be the optional, ninth spot role type player of that youth, because that's not like, we're going to see a lot. It's going to be very interesting once we get Trent back, when we get like some of these players back that we know will start, because that's going to push Bradley to the bench. That's going to push like some of these players to it's going to be a very interesting tango.
But I'm going to go out on a
limb with some of these selections.
I'm going to go out on a limb slightly and say, I was going to say, right, let's just imagine that everything's fine and dandy at the back. Trent is starting, Kanade is starting, Virgil is starting, and Robbo is starting, right? That means Bradley, Kwanzaa, Gomez, Simicas, if you want to add him in, benched. Okay? What I was just thinking there was, I think Gomez might have kind of a little bit, maybe slightly taken Robbo's place in that left back position. I'm not sure that that's a given that Robbo, I think even if Robbo's come back and start a game, I think I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him benched in the next game and Gomez starting left back.
That sounds so weird to hear that out loud, to be honest with you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because Robbo is just one of those, how we used to have that era of the Klopp era when it was just basically like, who's going to start. Like, you could just say, oh, yeah, Salah starting. Oh, yeah, Mane starting. Oh, yeah.
Oh, put a pin in it. Yeah.
Hendo's fit, Hendo's starting. Oh, those kinds of starts. Oh, Robbo's fit or Trent's fit. Oh, they're starting. And often you didn't really, Robbo and Trent really didn't have that many periods of injuries in their careers here. But it's just interesting, right?
Am I mad? I don't know. Am I overthinking it? Is it just because I reckon Gomez is playing so well this year that I don't think Trent is kept out. I don't think he's keeping Trent out, but I think Robbo might not have as many minutes. I don't think
that's mad. Chat, please tell me how you feel about that. I don't know if you guys have thought about that, chat. To the Mighty Red Army out there, seriously, that has got to be mind-boggling, and oh wow, it makes you go, wow, what's the future hold for some of these players?
Big summer,
big summer coming up. Big summer.
I have Robbo on my list of guys who I think a new manager will make a decision on, as opposed to will be, oh, he's my guy. He's don't think it's that strong. I think he's just one of them because just the way he plays the game.
Wow.
So
that's pretty crazy. It just sounds pretty crazy, but it is what it is, I guess, right?
Yeah. The wrong manager for the wrong player.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't work. If that player can go somewhere else and be fantastic. But if he's, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I just think
Yeah.
Gomez has played so well this year that Klopp is going to find it very difficult to say, "Oh, you're out now." I think he's been so important to, yeah, again, where we are right now. Which is what, 2 points clear, 3 points
Yeah.
clear of Man City.
Yeah. I pulled up I have the chart pulled up here for you guys. Um, and it's going to be basically, it breaks down, what has happened since match week 30. Um, we're getting into the final pool of the games and weeks of games. It's going to be something on the lines of a game every three
Give me
three
2 seconds,
days.
will you? 2
Yeah,
seconds.
sure. Um, it's going to be a situation where we're going to have 3 games or 3 days every game, something along those lines, and they're all going to be coming fast and furious, to say the least. And with this 2 point cushion over Arsenal and now a 3 point cushion over City, they still have. We all know that we win. It's in our hands, basically. It's definitely in our hands, and getting the proper rotation is going to be key to all of us. Seeing us get over the line. It's very interesting how a lot is like worked out this way. Especially even so with the top five, I think has pretty much solidified itself as to being who we know is going to be getting into Champions League, into a Champions League berth. You have obviously us, Arsenal, and City pretty much solidified as being 3 choices that are going to be there. That fifth choice is probably that fifth coefficient is most likely going to be solidified for the Prem. So it looks like the Spurs could end up finding themselves going to Europe with all of us. Villa as well has definitely solidified it. I think that it's going to be fun to see that Villa matchup, to be honest with you. I don't know if you guys I don't have City just running away with it anymore. We did a breakdown on the fixtures that are left and the teams that we have, on our list, and the teams that City and even I think we did all 4 of the teams as well. We just didn't do the top 3. I think we involved Villa, and I even had a breakdown of Spurs involved in that breakdown as well. City still got a matchup against Villa. I'm going to be doing an episode actually that's really going to talk about the kingmakers, basically. And that's going to be, Villa and Spurs are going to play very well, play a heavy hand in who is going to be not only going to Europe, but most likely who's going to be going to lift up that trophy at the end of the year. Should be very,
Yeah.
very intriguing to see. You back with us, Brian?
I am back, and don't forget we've got games tonight.
Yes, we do. We do.
Arsenal have that easy. You'd imagine they're going to go above us tonight with an easy home game against Luton.
Yes.
Before we play Sheffield United. Man City are playing Aston Villa in one of these games that we've been speaking about, teams that can have an impact. Villa are one of them.
Look, I think that Luton's going to fight in that matchup.
Well,
Luton needs these 3 points.
If you see
I'm not saying I see them getting 3 points. I'm not saying that.
No, just quickly, if you see the lineups, no Saka for Arsenal. Saka is out of the squad altogether. Jesus is benched. They're starting Emile Smith-Rowe. They're starting the other kid. They're starting Trossard. They're starting Emile Smith-Rowe and the other lad.
Okay.
No Jesus. No Saka. No Haaland for Man City. Haaland is on the bench. No Kevin De Bruyne starting for City. So, who knows?
Who knows? I know that they're down. I know that they're up in that game currently. They are up in that game. It's the first half of that game. But I'm saying I think that you might see a fight put up by Luton in this matchup.
Oh, I like Luton. I like Luton.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
I don't think they're going down for. I don't think they're going down.
Do you think they're going to get relegated? Yeah.
Well, look at Everton and Thingy.
Oh, wow. You think so? Realism Jared said this.
Well, they have some points deductions. Yeah. No, they still have a Thingy coming up, potential more points deduction. So,
yeah.
You never know. Like, I think Luton could potentially scrape it by a point.
Yeah, to try to manage. Look, I don't think that they're looking at it as saying, "Oh, we can go into the Emirates and get a commanding win." But I mean, can they scrape out? Look, even though it's 1-0, and I know Realism Jared just said Luton look horrific. Looks like they don't care about relegation, just standing around, timid, not doing anything. I mean, like, who knows?
It's a free hit game for them. They don't need to win this to stay up.
Right. Yes.
They won't be looking at this to stay up. Yeah. They'll be.
I think though that they could look at this to maybe say, you know what? As long as we hang in. Oh, now it's 2-0. But as long as we hang in. There you go. There you go. Maybe Arsenal heard me saying this, and they're like, you know what? Hold my beer.
Yeah. Screw this guy.
Screw this guy.
Yeah, like they started. Reece Nelson. That was the other guy I was thinking. Reece Nelson. They started Smith Rowe, Reece Nelson, Zinchenko, and Trossard.
Right.
So, which meant they benched Jesus Martinelli, Declan Rice, and they have no Saka. But yeah, it doesn't seem to be a problem for them, does it? Who scored? Who scored second goal?
Nelson.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, that'll be them anyway, going back above us now. But
I wanted to bring this up real quick. It's a funny. It's like it is interesting how people definitely, how some of these Twitter accounts, especially, how they try to like goad us in. Let me show you this little funny little thing, because it's just like I'm just over it with some of this speculations and stuff. But I'm gonna show it anyway. Exclusive. Xabi Alonso has changed his mind and wants to become the new Liverpool manager. Liverpool club representatives and Alonso's agents have reopened negotiations. Exclusive news.
Okay.
Do you think this is like hogwash? Like, I mean, do you think that, it's like, is this really happening? Is this really going on?
You gotta stay away from that place, people. When it comes to that stuff, yeah, you really gotta be you gotta be on your game, because they'll copy stuff and they'll change this tiny little thing in it or whatever. It's just, it is tiresome. But that thing's got like 4,000 likes.
Yeah, I was gonna say this thing's got. Look, this thing has been viewed by 642,000 views. It has 642,000 views, 4,300 likes. It's been retweeted 584 times and had 729 comments put onto it. So, of course, it circulates. It gets the algorithm really populating it around and everything else. It's why it got populated on my Twitter feed here, Like, it's one of those things where you're just like, are you kidding me? I thought we were beyond this. I thought we were past this.
Yeah. This is time machine stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I want a lot of this stuff to be over as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Because otherwise you have to spend all day, every day kind of going, oh, is that a real story? Is that true? Where is this coming from? Where's that coming from? Because it's, look, anything Liverpool is news, but a new manager.
That's super big news. Yeah. Yep. Big up to Cedric. Big up to everyone that's joining us. Ian, Nigel, like I said, Realism, Jared, MK Toe. Big up to all of you guys. Lee, Daz in the house. Dustin. Big up, Dustin. It's been a little while. Hope that you're well, brother. And Redbird, of course, as I spoke on earlier. Yeah, man. That was when I saw that report. I was just like, are we really
Yeah,
are we really going there? And to put up exclusive news, everything, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, because
it's easy.
that is a somewhat
Photoshop is your friend.
reputable Twitter account too. Like it does put up like some good clips or good information. But I just want it to be over with. It's one of those things where I'm just like, I think I'm not even hyping up the Amarin. I'm not hyping up any of these coaches now that have been like pressed into the folds now because of of the announcement of Xavi saying that he wasn't going to be coming or wasn't going to be leaving Leverkusen. I'm to the point now where I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to speculate so much so that it ends up being disappointment.
I
Like
think
that.
it's.
You're setting
I,
yourself up for disappointment.
I think it's almost kind of died down now at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
From the peak that it was at. I think Alonso has done us. Well, look, he hasn't done us a favor, but he's done us a bit of a favor with this
Rather than keep us,
non-announcements. Yeah,
rather than
announcement,
have us
non-announcement
hanging
thing.
on.
Yeah, it's basically sort of shut down 70% of the chat
Right.
because there's only really. I mean, everybody was coming out, all the reputable guys, and I know people don't like Romano, but I mean that guy pretty much. You played a long game with him. He's
Yeah.
usually right. He's usually his information. He can always retweet the thing that he tweeted 2 months before anybody else, and he's said it from day one. There's really only two guys on that list, and a week and a half before Alonso came out with his thing, he was saying it looks like nothing's been done, but the way he was reading, he said, "Look, Amorim is actually." He didn't say he's the favorite, but he was hinting that he's the one he would put his money on. So obviously he knew, that they'd been told something, and that something was that Alonso was going to stay. So to me, there really has only ever been two candidates in this race, and then as soon as one of these horses falls, what happens is the De Zerbi talk gets pumped up, right? So that comes in to fill the gap. That's the third horse running up now, just to fill some extra pages. Because if it's not Alonso, it was going to be Amr. It was a two-horse race. It was a fight between the two guys. Yeah, whatever it is, it was a fight for us to get them. But now Alonso, it's like, well, okay, you've all been saying it's between the two of them, so obviously your only story can be that it's Amr.
Right.
So I don't really see any credible name, any other credible candidate that wasn't already on the list. It was coming out that there is a list, but these are your guys. There's a list, of course, there's always be, but concentrate on these names. Yeah, kind of was the thing.
It's the reason why. Yeah, it's the reason why I think some of these almost insulting names in a way, somewhat is why you have the Southgates popping up.
Bookies need a top 10.
As Bookies a possible name or something like that. From, even De Zerbi, as a name out there. Even though I know that he was a candidate always. I think
he's on the list. I think what you have to have is, and this is not something that the fans will want to hear, is right. Say a third choice manager, because Alonso's first choice. He says, I'm staying at Leverkusen. Right. Amorim is second choice. Boom, he gets a Real Madrid job. So do you want to then turn around and go, well, we have no idea who else to get now. Shall we start looking for something else? Or B, do you want to have a third choice? Fully scouted out, fully sounded out, fully investigated, in a De Zerbi or something. Now, how can you go all the way to a fourth and a fifth with that kind of research and what would you call it, kind of due diligence into that manager?
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not as like, oh, he's our third choice. It's like, okay, well, the first guy got knocked down by a car, the second guy got struck by lightning. So what's but
What are our
we
choices? Yeah.
but
What
it's
are our
not
backup?
like
Yeah.
yeah,
What are
it's
our
not like
alternatives? Alternatives, I should say.
we
Yeah.
have a list, we have someone, we know about them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they'll always have in that kind of thing to be professional and to be well run. You would probably have four. You would
Mm-hmm.
probably have four managers that, because we know we're Liverpool. We can't just go out and pick and choose what we want. A manager can turn you down, or a bigger club can come in, or like we see with Alonso, he can decide to stay for a year. So we
Right.
can't be arrogant enough to go out and just decide, oh well, we'll go and get that manager and then we'll take him.
Right.
It's
I
like
think it
no,
humbles. I think it's going to be humbling somewhat. I mean, it's going to be very interesting because there's so many. There's Barcelona that need a coach. Okay. I mean, that's a very desirable position, desirable coaching role.
Bayern
You have
Munich.
Bayern Munich that needs a coach. That's a very desirable managerial role. Obviously, you have us that is going to need a coach. Then you also got to weigh in.
Man
there
United.
are there's some teams out there that could possibly be getting into the new coach role. I mean, do you think that Eric Ten Hag is basically because of Xabi Alonso's decision? Do you think that it's pretty much solidified him being that guy for United come next year too? This is an off-topic question, I guess.
If they don't get, even with this potential fifth slot opening up for English teams to qualify for Europe and specifically the Champions League via the Premier League, due to the changes in the coefficient because of the performance of English teams in European competitions this season in terms of how far they go, even with all of that falling their way, they're not guaranteed to get Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, well, Europe for them means Champions League. They might get, Conference League, but that's not Europe for them.
Right.
For United, Europe means the Champions League.
Yeah.
And if they don't get the Champions League, and obviously they're going to be 500 miles off winning the Premier League this year, considering what he's had in terms of support, backing, financial and support, in terms of being allowed to do what he wants to do, not just spend the money he wants to spend, but bring in the players he wants to bring in. Not all of them were his. I can't imagine Casemiro, but the likes of Lisandro Martinez and Anthony certainly would have been on his say so. Where do you go? How do you as a manager say, I really don't know how he can walk in and just say, yeah, I'm the man for next year.
Yeah.
They've got this new guy, Jim Ratcliffe, in now making footballing decisions. Well, we all know how that often goes. A new man up top. And you're not doing well. He didn't bring... Look, you're never more, as far as I'm concerned anyway, you're never more vulnerable than when the person who hired you leaves. Do you know what I'm getting at? So when someone comes in who chooses who to hire and fire, didn't hire you, doesn't know anything about you, all of a sudden, like a minute ago, you were working for a guy who hired you because he liked you. He went out and he got you.
Yeah.
When that balance changes, you're not his guy. You're not his guy. Eric Ten Hag is not his guy.
Yes.
So what's he done to make him have to be his guy? Get them third, get them performing really well.
I
think they're on the list, man. I think they're on the list of looking for a new manager. I definitely think they are.
I'll bring up the list again here. Let me bring up or not list, but I'll bring up at least this right here. I'll bring up the table again. Looking at this table, I mean, look, Manchester United, 48 points. the sheer fact that they have a nil goal differential. That is crazy. That is so crazy. Nil goal differential. That's more than telling.
Well, one thing I noticed about maybe 10, 12 years ago, I think this is the first time I noticed it, when I really started paying attention to certain things in football. And in the Premier League, by the time you get to seventh or eighth, you're no longer in positive goal difference. You look at it every year. You might get some anomalies, but most years, by the time you get to the bottom of the top 10, which will be halfway, obviously, but you'd be surprised how high up people can be on maybe plus 2 or 3. And the amount of like top quality teams are on always in minus goal difference.
Got 48 points, 44 points. West Ham only 4 points behind them. It kind of makes me think about that comment yesterday that I brought up by Ange, basically, when he was asked, are you fearful of Manchester United, or do you think that despite the fact that they are they're 8 points behind you, do you think that you can you can really pull out a
exactly, Jared?
What's that?
Sorry, I spoke out loud when I meant it. I said the quiet. I was just agreeing with Jared. But if you, look at West Ham, look at West Ham and Newcastle. West Ham in 7th on -5, Newcastle in 8 on +12.
Yeah,
it's like work that one out. Like just please work that one out. Like I know they're a game ahead, but to be a 17 goal difference, 17. There's like, goal difference minus compared to them, and to still be above them.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's
I
mean, like, what have we got down there?
What's that?
Minus Sheffield United -50. That's pretty.
I know.
Poor.
Oh my God. Goodness, that is dreadful.
Yeah, and that's going to get worse tomorrow night. Hopefully, after tomorrow night, that's going to be -55.
-50. Burnley -34. Jeez, I know that.
Burnley used to be good at the back. Even when Burnley were shit.
There's a lot of promise put onto the backs of Burnley, considering their run in the championship and how like promising they looked. Being promoted.
No, I knew that was all going to go to shit because he lost all those players. They had a guy that did all their damage for them, basically. Well, not all the damage, but a lot of the damage in the championship. Nathan Tella. You know where he is now?
No, I don't.
He's banging in goals for Bayer Leverkusen.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, because he was only on loan there. They haven't. Yeah, sorry. K-Mac is saying, like that. No, have you seen their teams, mate? Like, there's no Haaland.
Oh, for the other games, yes. So the Villa
there's
game,
no Haaland starting. There's no Haaland starting. There's no KDB starting.
Nope.
It's not Villa that rested players. Like, Haaland isn't starting. It's not their job. It's nobody's job. It's not that
Walker's not starting. I mean,
to help us.
No, it's not.
And this isn't the case, K-Mac. It's not the case for other teams to help us. They don't give 2 fucks about Liverpool. Why should Luton give 2 fucks about Liverpool? Why should Aston Villa give 2 fucks about Liverpool, let alone try and help us win the league?
Oh, I get
they're
that.
trying to, like, Haaland isn't starting. Saka is out. Martinelli's on the bench. Jesus is on the bench. They're all resting players.
They are.
So it's not that Luton rested players or Villa rested. Martin is sick. Watkins isn't fit. They didn't rest them. It's not their. K-Mac, when did you've been watching football as long as you? When did teams ever help other teams win the league? Come on, dude. Come on, man.
No, I know. I get where. Look, I think both teams don't exactly have the best lineups put out there. To be honest with you,
But do you honestly think Villa say, "Oh right, you know what? We're going to rest some players tonight because I'm not going to help Liverpool win the league," or do you think Luton would say, "Do you know what? We need to get the best team out there possible to help Liverpool win the league"?
Mm-hmm.
No,
I'm
that's
looking at it. I mean,
Healy
man,
is actually what we were talking about
but
earlier on. You're saying there, and sorry.
Watkins isn't even on the bench though.
No, he's
Watkins,
not fit. He's
yeah,
not
he's
fit.
not
He's
fit.
injured.
He was doubtful. Yes, he was doubtful. They didn't have him out. They had him as listed as being doubtful.
No, they haven't rested him. They haven't rested Emi Martinez. They haven't rested Watkins.
Well, Leon Bailey's on the bench. Tielemans is on the bench. Who else? What? Pau Torres is on the bench.
Oh, fuck off. Is he?
Yeah.
Why is... Oh, Christ. Okay.
Yeah, there you go. I think that's maybe why they're saying what they're saying. Maybe
no, he's in my fantasy football team.
Oh, sorry. Yep.
And he needs to sub in. Oh no, does he need to? Yeah, I think he needs to sub in because someone else didn't play.
We'll definitely see rotation in this lineup because I mean, this lineup isn't exactly, Diaby started. They had let's see, Duran. Is that how you say his name right?
Yeah, that's the Colombian guy that they bought from the club in one of the American clubs last year.
Mm-hmm.
They brought him over, Francisco Duran, I think.
Oh no! Is it Francisco? It's
something like
John.
That.
It's John.
Oh, John Duran. Yeah, John Duran. Yes. John Duran. Yeah. Colombian international.
Colombian, yes. Yep. Has had 8 appearances, 1 goal. He played for Chicago Fire before this.
Chicago Fire. That's it. Yeah.
Yep. And then they
which is the team that
17.5
Liverpool player played for?
What they paid. That's quite a bit. 17.5. That's a healthy. I mean, that's healthy for a MLS player, at least.
Does anyone know which Liverpool player played for Chicago Fire recently?
Hey! Look at what the chat just said, man.
I haven't seen it. I saw it. Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, I just saw the update come up on the screen too.
Yeah, Ozan Kabak got it. Yeah,
Shaqiri plays for Chicago Fire. Yes, he does.
Shaqiri.
Yes. Yep.
His calves don't lie.
Yeah. His calves don't lie. His calves definitely don't lie, man. And as we spoke about the young Colombian, is the goal scorer, by the way.
There we go, man. We manifest here at 12.
We manifest things. Yeah,
that's what we do. That's what we do.
We need to properly speak on what the things that we want to happen, people, because we're just speaking on Duran, and Duran is the goal scorer for Villa. City got shredded there. Okay. I'm definitely going to watch this. I'm definitely going to tune in for this second half of this game. And then let's see, what else do we have going on? Obviously, the Arsenal game is pretty much is what it is. They're at halftime. Brentford, Brighton, still 0-0. So we all do have to keep in mind, yes, that it's basically going to come down to we win our games, we win the league. It's that simple. It's that simple. Win all the games. You don't have to worry about what City's doing. We don't have to score watch and say, oh, hopefully we can pick up some goals here or pick up some goals there. It's one of those things. We just win our games, and that's that. And I mean, I know that you guys, there was an interview. It was a very interesting interview. I know that some of us have been a little weary of Trent getting a microphone put in front of him, but he's actually been conducting. I mean, he is the vice captain, so he is a spokesperson for the team. And he was asked after the last matchup, he was asked about going forward. What is it about trying to bring what was your mindset when you got told about Klopp leaving, and what do you want to do with the rest of the season? How do you navigate a road path towards bringing him out with a trophy? And then they're like, that's the ultimate. He's basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he's like, that's the ultimate goal for us. You know, when the announcement was made, it kind of like, you know, rocked a lot of us, you know, in the sense of like, you know, it was jarring to hear, but you know, he said that it created that much more motivation for this. I
Yep.
mean, you already had the motivation already, but you had the situation where like at least now it's now or never, you know, if you're going to bring this guy another title. And it has definitely motivated a lot of these players. And I'm happy to hear that they understand that it's really going to be important for them to, you know, put it in, but as in it all rests in their hands.
Well, also that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pause on both of those things.
Yeah, pause on both. There you go. There you go. Thank you. There you go.
Well, you
Pause
didn't get the beer for Norm.
sure.
You got to get a beer for Norm.
We have a question from Norm. Is that what he said?
No, you got to get a beer for Norm.
Norm's in the house. Oh, yes, of course. Norm. Definitely. Always got a beer ready for you. Always got a beer ready for you. Let's see. Yeah.
Did they look at it? Well, hang on. There's a lot of VAR talk here. I'm assuming it was given, yeah?
It's given. I mean,
okay, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's already given because, I mean, you know, it's still up and it's still, I see it.
Was easy. Yeah, if it was off, yeah, no, if it was chalked off, it wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see the clock still moving and like, yeah, it would have probably been, you know, usually. And also I think it has like a little thing where it'll actually say like under review by VAR, you know, something like that.
Oh, it's 1-1. Oh, I thought it was 1-0 to Villa. Okay, who scored?
No, it's 1-1. Yeah. Rodri had a goal in the 11th minute for them.
Oh, Rodri. Fucking typical Rodri.
I mean, like, look, let's not get it twisted. Like, you know, I get it.
Rodri.
City definitely don't have Haaland. I get it. They don't have KDB, but it's not like they got scraps to play with. You know what I mean? It's not. But
they can bring him on, though. They can bring him on. That's the thing. Like Saka, Watkins, someone else. Saka and Watkins are gone. You know, not that Arsenal would need him, but yeah, City can bring Haaland on for half an hour if they want.
They could. But, I mean, look, you know, like Villa's got, again, Leon Bailey is still on the bench. Yuri Tillemans, who had a good little run for himself in internationals. I think he scored the goal against England, right?
Weird player. He was being linked to us for 80 million.
Yeah, I know.
You know, he was one of the most sought after, inverted commas, hyped up young players in like just Real Madrid, everybody. And within the space of about 2 years, maybe.
Yeah.
And he can't even he couldn't get a game for this Villa team when they weren't brilliant. He really was like, kind of, hang on a minute, this going to be one of these Dele Alli situations. What's happened to this guy?
Yeah, no, the City does have Stones on the bench, Mateus Nunes on the bench. They have KDB on the bench, Oscar Bob, Kovacic. Yep. Haaland's
the only one
on the
that's
bench.
Actually out is Thingy Walker, isn't
it? No, Ederson.
The defenders. Yeah, they have a couple of defenders. Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
Ederson, Ake, and Walker, as you just mentioned.
But Villa lost their keeper before the game. He was sick, Emi Martinez, so he had to drop out.
Yeah,
so
that's
they
true.
Have
very true.
Villa have their second choice.
They have Olsen in. They have,
yes, Olsen.
Yep. Ramsey's not available. Watkins isn't available. Those are the two doubtfuls. And then obviously they have you know their regular players that are already out like Mings, Kamara, Cash, and Buendia. But yeah, they have some players on the bench that they can utilize to kind of like possibly see this out. Who knows what will happen with that. There's a question for you though, Brian, in the chat. It was by Norm. He says, Brian, City's goal was really tight for all side, yet it took seconds for Brooks on VAR to give it. yet it was really one of them where it would take
That's not a question. Yeah,
while
Silva's.
normally. Yeah.
No, K-Man,
Yeah.
Silva's playing. 1 sec, back in a sec.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, and then let's see. You have this other comment here. Let me pull this other comment up. High Lord says, but for Liverpool with 8 matches this month and those last 4 matches away, I think we should show some moderation on what players we are using tomorrow. I agree with that completely, High Lord. We were speaking on that earlier in the broadcast here. You know what's going to be telling for us, and this is going to be a big match, a big play now that we have been that because of the FA Cup run and the differences that we're going to see with where that Everton matchup fell into our schedule is going to be it is going to be interesting now that we have it solidified where no problem where we're going to be playing that game. I think the biggest one of our biggest question marks, I guess you could put it, is going to be that 3-game run, because we have Sheffield tomorrow, we have United obviously on Sunday, then we have our Europa matchup at home, then we have Crystal Palace at home, then we have our Europa matchup in Italy. That's 5 games in. Then we have Fulham away, and then we would have had West Ham after that, but now that we've got the Everton matchup, placed in where we're going to be playing them, that's 3 away games in a row. So that's going to be where we have to hunker down. I think that's going to be the most, I wouldn't say troublesome, but the most you have to put extra effort into it, because you're not going to be able to fall back and rely on the Anfield crowd to inspire you or push you, or looking into the Kop and being able to see the inspirational motivators out there. But we're going to have that Fulham, Everton, and then West Ham. 3 tough matchups for us after that Europa matchup.
Yeah, ordinarily West Ham is 6 points for us, because they've been basically, what do you call it? Well, I know the kids, they call it a triple threat, but it's kind of like a double threat in reverse. They're A, West Ham, and B, managed by David Moyes. And West Ham never beat us, and David Moyes never beats us. So you put the 2 and 2 together. It's normally 6 points, but right now they've got a couple of really annoying players.
Yeah.
Kudus, Paqueta, Bowen, Antonio, the Alvarez kid, kid that they got from Ajax in centre midfield. They've got some really tasty players, especially Paqueta and Kudus.
Yeah.
And Bowen knows what he's at in the Premier League, scores a lot of goals.
Yeah.
I ordinarily expect to beat them, but all of a sudden, in a title race, going away, guys like that, Kudus and Paqueta, looking for big moves, nothing better than to put in an out performance against Liverpool there, you know what I mean, on the old Sky Sports, everyone watching it. Can't beat it, lads. That's an extra 20 million on the valuation. The agent can, get on the phone to a few people. I can see this all happening. I do not want to go there and play them. I don't. I really don't, man. Yeah. I take them at Anfield all day because they go into their shell. Fulham, I love playing Fulham because they play football. It might be a bit dangerous, but they'll give you plenty of chances.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other one, Everton away.
West Ham away.
But no, I did West Ham. The other one away, Everton.
Everton. Oh, yes.
Oh, man. Come on. Please. We just, on a list of things you don't fucking need, that's right up there. But they are pretty poor at the moment. So if we turn it into if we can turn that into a football match, we'll beat them. But if we turn it into a derby thing, and all that, come on.
Oh,
we don't want that. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
People
sorry.
getting
I
kicked
just
up
sorry.
the
I just
bum.
saw Ant. So like,
Taking
Ant. I already let you off the hook with the Gomez comment, but now he's
He's
dropping.
coming for Salah.
Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. Ant. No, we all got love for you, Ant. I'm just kidding with you. Oh man.
And twice on
Yeah.
Sundays. And
Yeah. You know what's crazy about this comment too? Look, I agree. Everton are not that team this year. I brought up that in the quiz. I brought up the question of like I think I brought up the goal differential for question. Like if you could figure out what is their goal differential since they're
oh,
scoring lows.
you were saying it
Um,
was what, December?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Their last win was in December.
Yeah,
Um,
they're a bad football team.
they're a bad football team. They're definitely a bad football team.
Minus 11 there,
But
down
we
to
all know that
16th.
gets thrown out the window when it comes to playing against us.
It
That's the scary.
really, it's away. Do we have a time on that game?
Yes, yes, I do. I can give it to you. Give me 1 second.
Because if that's midweek, it's going to be in the evening.
Okay, so it is going to be. Give me 1 second. I'll pull this up here. It is going to be. All right. It is going to be. It's going to be 8 o'clock. I
Yeah.
think is your time. 8 o'clock.
8 p.m. Okay.
8 p.m. Yes. It's going to be 8 p.m.
That's what you
UK
want.
time.
Atmosphere.
Yeah. Atmosphere,
Game.
Goodison Park. We're going to have a lot of, it's going to be very, very fun matchup. Let me tell you. They're going to not be looking to get embarrassed. Obviously, they're going to look to come out. They're going to, the one unique thing about that fixture though, or at least not just with that one fixture, but that run that we have that we're speaking on, that those 3 away games. Hopefully we can continue to get our form, but also hopefully we can continue to get these players back into the fold. By that time, we should have, a lot of the, we should have Ali back possibly. Diego will be hopefully like in form and really like actively playing good minutes. And again, we'll have maybe that earlier problem that we were talking about earlier, which is, okay, well, now we get into, we don't know who, there aren't any really givens on who gets the start, who doesn't get the start, because we have such exceptional choices to with some of these players that are going to be coming back in to the team.
Yeah, that's really all we want is just, look, you keep the rolls going and every single week over next 3 games, you get another 2 guys back into the squad every time. And of course, we'll lose someone. Look, someone will get a knock. But to get Jones back, and then Ali is back, and then Trent is back.
Mm-hmm.
And with all in, so if we can just time it nicely, and as you said, it's not fair to say it. It's not fair to keep it up. But if you win all your games, okay, then that's it. So if we can keep our noses in front, let's look at it that way.
Yeah,
because we know now Arsenal are going to be top of the league tonight.
That's interesting. Do you think? Yeah,
we have to go and beat. They're going to be top of the league, so we have to go and beat Sheffield. Sheffield United. Jeez, I fell into my own trap. Yeah, it's Sheffield United, not Sheffield.
Sheffield United.
But,
yes.
But quickly, I did see one thing earlier on today, and I won't go into it too big, but it's this idea that City always finish strong.
Yeah.
The City yada 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 and all that. Broken down over the Pep and Klopp years, over the last 10 games, and then over the last 15 games.
I've seen that.
It's actually us. Yeah, it's us. We finish stronger.
Yeah.
Typically, we actually finish stronger than City do.
Yep. And not only that, often is the case is that Arsenal, who is in this mix as well, Arsenal are enormously different when it comes to the performances that they pull off towards the end of the year in comparison.
Yeah, that's a polite way of putting it.
They tend to wither rather than bloom.
Yeah, that is a polite way of putting it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an interesting statement too here. I wanted to get you. I got some of these questions and some of these statements starred. Out of those 3 away games that we just spoke of, if you had to tier them, what would be your tier list for them, real quickly?
Was one of them at Atlanta? It was Everton, Fulham, and
Fulham. It was Fulham first, then Everton, and then West Ham, all 3 away. And actually, technically, we have 4 away games. You're right, because we end up facing our Europa match is away too.
Most difficult would be West Ham in terms of the quality of the players that they have. I think would be the most dangerous. Then Everton, and then Fulham. But Fulham,
that's interesting because
score more.
Because the chat had. I'm trying to think of someone in the chat just said it too. I thought I started.
Someone said that they were going to be the hardest.
Oh yeah, right here.
Yeah, I get that, but I think
he said he thought Fulham would be our most difficult away game.
I think they'll give us a better game than Everton will, but because of the way they play, we'll get more chances to score. Perhaps that's the way I'm looking at it. Hopefully,
okay,
because it'll be an open game, and we do well in open games. So I just think they're a good team for us to play. Whereas Everton is just going to be absolutely horrible, really.
That was a very good question, I thought, or a very good thought of like West Ham, Everton, Fulham. What would probably be the hardest or the most difficult out of the 3? I was leaning towards West Ham as being possibly the most difficult one, because who knows? West Ham could have something to play for. They could be trying to actually, hold on or possibly surmount Manchester United for that 6th spot as well.
Oh, they aren't playing. No, they're not playing for nothing. This is what I mean. Is like, when you have players like Kudus and Paqueta, you can score goals against anybody.
You can, certainly. Let me bring up some of these comments here from the chat also. Because
it's everything I've said before as well. But you know what I've been saying about Moyes and West Ham, right? Like, he never beats us, they never beat us. They do, but he's going to beat us once. If he keeps playing us, we're going to lose to him eventually. Just law of averages. And he's had some decent teams in his time. He had a great Everton side. He doesn't get a lot of credit for it. They weren't great to watch, but they're one of the most effective teams out there. And to do what he did so he was a good manager back in the day. But these boys,
that's crazy. Look at this. Right. This is a great stat, or a great, point by Ian. He says, just worried about our record at Old Trafford. During Jurgen's tenure, we have played at Old Trafford in all comps 10 games and only won 2. That is a poor record, to say the least.
Yeah, but one of them was pretty memorable.
Yes. The one where we sent them home, where they were leaving it before halftime. People were leaving.
It's not great though.
That was hilarious. That's good. Oh, good memories. Good times.
Yeah, but if you'd said to me 10, I would have guessed more than 2. To be honest with you, he's right. It's poor. It is poor. I mean, It hasn't held us back. It hasn't really made. But if you ask me to guess,
I wouldn't have thought that.
I wouldn't have thought 2. Now I probably would have said 4 or 5 or something. But that is poor. You can't deny that now. So
Yeah,
with what we've
I'm about
been.
to pull up that stat myself because that's
Let me
pretty great.
see. Man, yeah, they do. Heel or them.
Okay, so that's for the last 10 matches, I think he's saying, right? In last all comps, last 10 matches. Okay. So I was going to say, we played Manchester United more than 10 times at Old Trafford. But yeah, okay, I got you. That must be our last 10 matchups, maybe?
Well, it won't be the last 10 years. Yeah, last 10. What?
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean our last, like, as in our last from the FA Cup and the last 10 matchups. So we have we're facing them three times this year.
Yeah, not league, not just league.
Yeah. I was just trying to pull. I was doing a quick chat on that. Yeah. Let's see what else do we have here. Yes, I know. Big up to Ozan Kabak. Yes, he plays center back. He says, I want to see a John Wick performance from us at Old Trafford. You know what? I just want us to set up so what in Europe, or do you call it soda? Do you call it pop? Do you call it soda pop? Do you call it, what do you call like a fizzy drink, I guess? Oh, Brian dropped out real quick. I'll wait. In the chat, what do you guys call, what do you guys call in America? It depends on what portion.
Sorry, am I back? Am I gone?
Yes, you are back.
Oh, I'm back. Yes. Yeah, it went to a brrr, you know what starts going on?
That's weird. Yeah.
Soda. What are you asking me about soda? You're saying something about soda?
I was asking what do you call it? Do you call it soda? Do you call it pop? Do you call it soda pop? What do you call it?
If anything, what
do you call it?
We actually don't call it anything, to be honest. If that
you just say that over there, you just point at it or something. You're like, I want that. Like, how do you say you want a soda?
We don't call it soda. Like, we basically, like, if you were to say anything, you would say fizzy drink.
Fizzy drink. That's what I said too. Fizzy drink.
Yeah, maybe, but like, really, like, you would just say Coke or Fanta.
You say the name of that.
Yeah, you'd say the name of. Yeah, we don't use the. Yeah, we don't say soda, or we don't say. Yeah, no one. Yeah, it's just like
drink. Now you're getting all technical.
Yeah, but like, what would you call them? Yeah, if you said, well, yeah, our version of soda or pop would be fizzy drinks.
Right. I just mean, like, if you walked in and you wanted to know if they had something, if they had, like, you don't necessarily say, oh, you would. Let's say you don't say, oh, do you have Coca-Cola, or do you have, or do you have Pepsi or whatever? You just go. If you want to say, hey, I don't want to drink any.
Oh, in a bar.
Do you have water? Do you have soda? Do you have?
No. Okay, no, that'd be a soft drink.
Soft drink is what.
They call it. Yeah, that'd be a soft drink.
Okay, that's what I meant.
So if you went into a pub, or you were in a restaurant, you say, "What soft drinks do you have?"
I got you.
Yeah, because fizzy drink. Yeah, basically.
Soft drink is, I know what you mean by that. We don't necessarily say that too often.
Yeah.
If you wanted into a store and you wanted to know, like, if they had Coca-Cola or Sprite or something, whatever, you
say soda.
You would say, hey, do you have any soda? Do you have soda? Or do you have, or do you maybe, and depending on what part of America you're in, you might even say, do you have pop?
Yeah,
like
pop,
you might say pop.
Like, if you but like MK, like, basically, fizzy drinks is what kids call them.
Yeah.
Like, an adult wouldn't really use the term. Oh, have you got any fizzy drinks? That would be a silly thing,
Yeah.
So it'd be soft drinks, but yeah.
I'm just wondering. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. No, soda is. That's it. I know what it is. Oh, they're 2-1 up.
Yeah.
Oh well, they're 2-1 up. Oh well.
Yeah, I saw that. Fizzy drink, okay, or carbonated drink, soda, pop, soft drink, whatever you call it. I'm hoping that we can set up a stand at Old Trafford, or Geriatric Trafford, as I like to call it, and and set up a 7-Up. 7-Up. That was where I was going with this, because I wanted to make sure I referenced it right, as in, to make sure that it that the translation carried over. That's all.
Oh, don't worry. Even though we don't use the words, we know what you mean.
Yeah, exactly. We all know what 7-Up is.
I don't drink Guinness, by the way, either. I don't drink Guinness, so.
I know. Doesn't drink gin. Do you drink Jameson?
Oh, I don't drink hard liquor. No, I don't like hard
Okay.
liquor.
All right. Yeah.
I know some people get very into it.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people, yeah. A couple, one of my neighbors is super into whiskey. So like, he's like he got a whiskey.
My brother-in-law is
He's
just
got a whiskey bar, man. It's like ridiculous. He's got like over like 95
yeah.
bottles or something like that. And he's like, yeah, come over for like, to try some of the whiskey. And I'm just like, oh, wow, that could get me in
No,
trouble.
I don't know. MK, I don't drink stout. It's not that I don't. It's not. I don't just not drink Guinness. I don't drink stout.
Mm,
So,
mm.
what I do like though is every night is a large bottle of Guinness off the shelf, which is basically Guinness in a glass bottle, right? And it's kept on the shelf in a bar. It's not kept in a. It's not refrigerated. So it's Guinness bottled at room temperature, and it's nowhere near as creamy. It doesn't pour with that big head. It pours like a dunkel, like those German dark beers.
Okay.
That is absolutely beautiful. It's nowhere near as heavy or as thick as the Guinness that you get in those cans. And that's a really good. It's something a lot of people drink. No, don't drink cider either. But that's if you've ever had Erding or Dunkel, any of those dark beers, those German beers, they look black. And room temperature is very different depending on where. But as in what I mean is it's not refrigerated. But yeah, in some pubs that basically means refrigerated. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. But that's really like it looks like Guinness, but it goes down like a lager beer. It's very light. That's really nice. But if you're ever in Ireland and you are doing the Guinness thing or whatever, you can get the whole pints thing, but also make sure that you do actually have a large bottle off the shelf, and it should be given to you with a half pint glass, not a pint glass. That's a very different kind of thing altogether, and much more flavor in it as well. But that's just
I have
me.
a question then. So for the chat, please put it in because I've seen you guys put in a bunch of different.
They're just guessing what I drink, basically. I
Yeah,
don't drink
drink a bunch
cider.
of
I don't
different
drink
beers
stout.
and everything else. Okay, for
No.
those of our Mighty Reds out there, I know not all the Mighty Reds drink alcohol, but for those that do partake in a sip of alcohol here or there, what is the drink? What is the beer that you drink for the games? I know I was speaking on superstitions. I have a superstition that I definitely try to uphold when I do watch my team play. I tend to have to drink at Carlsberg. Even if I'm not a Carlsberg fan, I still will drink a Carlsberg if it's not my top choice. If I walked into a pub, what would be my choice of beer? But all the same,
Nigel's on the wine. Oh.
Yeah, Nigel's sophisticated. That's why he's sophisticated.
Sorry, Nigel.
He drinks boba. That's boba. Boba is my drink, though. I love boba.
The next time I'm talking to Nigel, I'll put on a French accent. I'm sorry.
What is the drink that you drink when you're watching the Reds play? Like, what is the beer that you would want to have if you could have any beer that you would do out there? What is the beer that you drink when you're watching the game? What is your beer of choice, Brian, if you're watching the game?
I'm not that fussy, man. Honestly, I really am not that fussy because
it's just whatever is available, basically.
Like the stuff I won't like. I don't get me wrong. I know what's I know what's good and what's bad.
Right.
But I won't. Like the whole craft beer thing has exploded over here.
Yeah.
Recently, and everyone is such a beer snob. They're all beer snobs. You can't have this, and you can't have that, and it's like,
yeah, I get you.
Come on, lads. I was growing up with you. I remember you guys when we were drinking, cider in a field, and you didn't care then.
Right.
So don't pretend you're, Jamie or not Jamie Oliver. You're what's his name? I forgot his name. Anyway, Keith Floyd. No, you're not Keith. Oh, I'll only drink this. I'll only drink that. It's get a grip of yourself. So anything isn't taste like shite, I like any of the original Belgian stuff. The Stellas and things like that were the ones that came along. But there's so many nice things now. You can go in and buy a different beer every week or
Sure,
two
sure. I
months.
know. For me,
You
I'm
know,
asking because, like,
so
for instance, like
I
whenever
just
I,
know. Yeah, a
yeah,
long way of saying I don't have a
whenever, yeah,
go-to.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have a
Okay.
go-to, but I know. Look, I don't drink. Yeah, you can get that gut rot cheap crap. Whatever. But there's so much stuff now. Like when I was a kid, you only had really. You could buy Guinness, Carlsberg, Heineken, Budweiser, Bulmers, which is a cider, and then a couple of cheap ciders, and maybe some other strange cheap beer, and that would normally be about it.
Mhm.
That really would be about it. So that's we have a lot of choice now, but as long as something is fine and it's a decent lager, basically, like I'll drink lager beer as
Mhm.
long as it's okay and it's not too crappy or whatever. I'm fine with it. It'll be good.
Mhm.
But I love my IPAs, all those new things. There's brew dogs over here,
Okay.
and there's a couple of crazy. There's this alien beer. I can't remember the name of it. They have these really funky kind of alien graphics on their cans.
Hmm.
Little 330 ml cans. They have about 8 different flavors and stuff like that. A couple of them are nice and stuff, but uh, look, as long as it's I'm not a Heineken guy. But
Okay. Okay.
no, this is the thing. These I could go into my local off license now, and I could probably pick one of 30, 35 different beers. Whereas, like I say, when I was a kid, you could probably had about 3 or 4, and they were
Mhm.
always Heineken,
Mhm.
Carlsberg, and Budweiser.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
some of
and
the beers I
Budweiser
drink,
is piss.
one of the
Budweiser,
beers
though.
I drink wouldn't
Oh,
probably be offered. You probably wouldn't see it in Europe because it's a Mexican beer, but
what's
it's
it
like
called?
it's the oldest brewery in Mexico. Um, it's called Victoria. Here I can show you. This is I don't know if that resonant if that pulls out. This is like this is a coaster. It was 1865. This was actually
Oh, I know that label. Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
this is where
Victoria.
Victoria. Very good beer, if you guys. I'm not really into Mexican beers, but so for instance, like Ozan just asked me about Modelo. Modelo actually bought Victoria. Like Victoria used to be an independent brewery, but Modelo is huge. Modelo is like the Budweiser of like Mexico, basically, and they ended up buying, even though they still produced Victoria, they bought Modelo bought Victoria. So very, very good beer. I was gonna say too, it's a
Yeah.
very good beer. I'm a Stella. I drink Stellas if I'm drinking a beer probably. If you guys saw me, if I ever
Yeah,
went
I
to
drink
like
Stella as well. Yeah.
yeah, if I using my safe
Spot on
go
there,
to.
Nigel.
Yeah, exactly. My safe go to as they're like you walk into a pub and you want to you know that they're not probably gonna have Victoria or something like that. I usually just go with Stella. Stella's my choice. But I was gonna say there is a
Nigel is.
beer, and it's unfortunate that it is made in freaking Manchester, but um, I like I like Boddingtons too. I will openly admit that.
Never had it. You could buy it here. You could, but I never. I don't think I've ever tasted Boddingtons actually. I may have
Yeah,
once at a
yeah,
party. When you're at a
yeah.
party. Well, over here at parties, you can have cans of all kinds of shite just be showing up.
Yeah,
But Nigel is there on a proper baking hot summer's day, and you are
yeah,
complete like you are absolutely melting. If you
yeah.
walk into a pub and you get a pint glass absolutely stuffed full of ice, as much ice as you can possibly get in that pint glass, and
Right.
then you pour a bottle of Bulmers in on top of it. Holy hell, man! You only want
That's
one because it's
interesting.
pure sugar.
I've never had a beer with ice in it. That's
It's cider.
interesting.
No, 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 no. It's cider.
Oh, cider.
Yeah.
Even
Bulmers is
okay,
cider.
cider. Okay,
Yeah,
got
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's pure.
Okay.
Like you don't drink like Bulmers is the kind of stuff if you
Well,
drink too much
I
of
like
them.
ciders. There's some ciders I do
Yeah,
mess with.
yeah.
I
They
think
call
it's
it
Strongbow.
Magners. They call it
Strongbow, I think it's
Magners
called.
now.
Yeah.
Magners. We
It's-
call it Bulmers. But it's only up the road from me. It's up in Carmel. They're up in Tipperary, which is only 40 minutes up the road from me.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, But my friend's dad worked there for a long time, and yeah, Bulmers, yeah. So it's if you're into cider, I'm not into cider, but it's one of those things like you get to the pub and you have one because you're just thirsty. No, Bulmers and Magna is different, same thing. It's just the same company, but we call it Bulmers over here because it was known as Bulmers, and then they eventually changed it to Magners to make it so that the branding would be the same worldwide. But you then drink something else. If you were to drink a load of Bulmers, the next day, your mouth will be completely stuck together. You will not be able to move your mouth. It's nothing but sugar.
Oh,
it is, yeah. It's just not. It's like you know when you mess with the slushy machine and you put it to all syrup.
Oh God!
You know, that's what Bulmers is like. It's just like,
oh my goodness,
syrup.
that sounds horrible.
Yeah,
that sounds horrible.
One is nice, you know, one with a ton of ice. Yeah, and you cut through it. It's like, but then don't drink anymore. You then go on something else. But if you go on a cider binge, yeah.
No, I mean,
man,
like,
you do not want to do it.
I don't really do the there's a couple ciders. I've had ciders before. I'm not like that big of a cider guy. I like when we hosted a long time ago, Leeds United did a tour of America, and we hosted the Leeds United, fan base that came through. I befriended a lot of the Leeds United guys. So like when we would go out to the pubs, that was Boddington's was their drink. That was like the drink that they loved to drink. So like that got me into drinking Boddingtons, unfortunately.
Iconic 90s ad. Anyone in England that was around in England 90s will remember the iconic Boddingtons ad with the super hot girl that was in it.
Oh no, I don't know that one. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, in a little evening dress, and she looks like this Bond girl, and then she comes up and she like grabs a pint of Boddington. She's like, "Oh, that's great, man!" Big thick northern voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But do you remember the Ned Flanders quote for how you know the difference between apple juice and cider?
No. What is it?
Do you remember that Simpsons episode?
No, I don't. I don't.
They go to the cider place, and Ned is there. He's like, how do you know the difference? So he's like, if it's clear and yellow, you got juice there, fella. If it's tangy and brown, you're in cider town.
Okay.
Never forgotten that quote. Man.
Okay, that could go left quote. So badly.
Yes,
that could not be good.
Yeah, juice.
Yeah, you have to drop a pause behind that.
Juice.
A definite pause behind that. Oh man, no, I like There's a bunch of stuff that I mean, like I like Newcastle. I like Bass Ale too because I like black and tans.
Yeah, we had Bass in Ireland. Bass is big in Ireland. Growing up.
Yeah.
There's two types of ales here. We had Smithwick's and we had Bass.
Yeah, I like Bass. I like Newcastle's. I like Harps. I like Harps too.
Harp.
Yeah.
Just Harp Lager, the Irish one.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an old school one, man.
Yeah. I mean, like
that was the other one. That was the other one.
You can make a black and tan with like a Guinness and Harps.
Harp was the other one you could always buy here. I'd forgotten Harp. Yeah, Harp was the Irish lager. Like the Heinekens and Carlsbergs and Carling. Basically, they were the English lager was Carling, and then you had Heineken or Carlsberg. But Harp was seen as the Irish lager. So if you wanted, and I drank it recently in a old pub that had reopened. It was an old pub that closed up in the early 80s and hadn't been changed since the 50s. And then it reopened a little while ago to be all hipstery, you know what I mean? And they only serve Harp, Guinness, and Smithwick's. That's
wow! So they're old.
But it's
school,
the three taps.
Hardcore.
It's the three taps that were in there when it closed.
Got you. Got you.
And
Yeah,
obviously, it would serve anything from the bottle.
yeah.
But the only thing you can get on tap, and they have Semitic on tap, Harp, Guinness, and Semitic. So if you want, so it's one of those pubs where you go in and what you would say is, "Give me a pint of lager,"
Mm-hmm.
because there's only one. Or you'd say,
One
"Give me a
lager, right? I know
yeah."
what you
You
mean.
say,
I know
"Give
what
me a
you mean.
pint of stout." Guinness
That's
is
a
the
difference. A
stout.
lot of
It's
the
the only
bars
stout.
now, it used to be, at least the old school pubs, it used to be like you just go and you say, yeah, give me a pint, and that's it. You're getting a pint of whatever is
Well,
the one beer that they
in
serve, pretty much.
England,
Yeah.
it would have been like that because 18. Oh, was that in England? It was like that because
Yeah,
they were all
what is
brewery
the
owned.
oldest? What is the drinking age in Ireland? By the way,
18, 18.
18.
But
Okay.
in England, you would have that because you would walk in and say, "Give me a bottle of lager," because all the pubs were brewery owned, so they only sold what that brewery served.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why. So if you went into a certain place, if you asked for a bottle of lager, they only had one type of lager, so they gave
Yeah,
you the
exactly,
brewery type of
exactly,
lager. So you wouldn't
exactly.
be there going, "Give me a, have you got this? Have you got that?" It's like, no, we serve,
We serve
you know,
this,
because
right?
you'd look at the brewery above the door, the brewery name. Oh, well, they serve,
Yeah,
and they'd be
yeah,
across
yeah,
the
yeah,
road. Oh,
yeah,
well, no, I prefer that brewery, so I'll go into that pub.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
But
I
no,
get
we
you.
don't
I
have
get
that
you.
system. That system doesn't exist in Ireland. We're all independently owned. Well, until they started becoming, but it used to be all independently, and they'd buy from. But yeah, they'd get taken over. Like obviously, Guinness and Murphy's were the two competitors when it came to stout. So some pubs would be Murphy's pubs, and some pubs would be Guinness pubs. But that would really be the only thing. And Murphy's would be down the southwest. But
Hmm.
that was really about it.
Hmm.
So that you'd have some brewery control. But
Yeah, no, I that's interesting. I get because like here, so I'm originally from the East Coast, even though I live on the west side of America now. But like I'm originally from the East Coast, and yeah, there's the brewery of choice or the beer of choice that I used to drink was Yingling. It's called Yingling, but we also call it like it's kind of funny because we're talking about soda and soda pop. It's, back home, depending on what part of home you're in, we call it Ying Pop actually, because people would drink it as if it was so good. It was almost like drinking soda. Like you drink it as casually as you do soda pop. That's why they
okay,
call it Ying Pop. That's just a colloquialism that we have. But yeah,
yeah,
uh,
Murphy's is Cork.
it's not. What's that?
No, it's just no. I think you said, yeah, Murphy's is Cork. I just saying. So I just mean down.
Oh, oh yeah.
That's what I was saying. In Ireland, basically, you have Guinness and Murphy's, and
Mhm.
Guinness is obviously way bigger, but Guinness is up in Dublin, and
Mhm.
Murphy's is down in Cork, and Cork
Gotcha.
is what considers themselves to be, the real capital, the people's capital, and all
The
this kind of
people's
shit.
capital.
Yeah, yeah. So they're kind of a bit of a. So if
Yeah,
you're from that
it's got
part of
some
the world,
notable names coming from there. Got some notable
yeah.
names coming there. Yeah.
Oh, here comes Tom.
Speaking of Cork, there is isn't Tom from Cork, I believe, right?
No, Tom's from Tipperary and
Oh
he's
my.
in Long Island. But he's got now. We're talking about beer, Tom. We're talking about what people drink, and
Yeah.
he's got a. For some reason, he has a Coors avatar.
Yeah,
But
I don't know about that. I do not drink Coors Light. I don't drink Coors Light. I do drink Yingling though. I do drink Yingling if I'm home. And as Ozan just said, it's unique. And I'm gonna land the plane here. We're sitting, we're just chilling on the tarmac here, just chilling. Um, but the unique thing about Yingling was it is America's oldest and first and oldest brewery. Okay, it's in Pennsylvania. It's in Yingling,
oh, okay. I
Pennsylvania.
thought it was like some Asian beer or something. That's actually an American beer.
Yes, Yingling is an amazing
Oh, okay.
is a American beer. It's the oldest American lager, and it's also the oldest brewery in America. Um, and it's in Pennsylvania. It's Yingling is on the west side of Pennsylvania. So for the longest time, though, what was interesting about Yingling is you said about the microbreweries and all other stuff. Like when that whole beer resurgence happened, all of a sudden Yingling became. It used to be you could get you can get Yingling a 6-pack of Yingling pretty I would say cheap for 6-pack terms, But then when it
Like walk
became,
around beer.
yeah, like hipsters and all the other stuff started drinking it
Oh
now and all that
yeah,
stuff,
there you
and
go.
then the branding and all this other stuff happened. All of a sudden, it practically almost like doubled in price, and we're like, this isn't. What happened to my Ying Pop? Like
Yeah. Good for
was one of
Yingling,
those
but
things.
not good for the average guy on the street. Yeah, like
No, it
yeah,
wasn't.
there's always one of the brands that pops like that, right? That's
Yeah,
been around for
forever.
25 years, 30, 40, 50 years.
Yep,
And then when old stuff becomes cool again, there's
yep,
always one that really becomes cool. The one that was sometimes it's the one that was the cheesiest.
yeah.
But like you say,
Yeah.
obviously that stuff was good drinking
Oh, it's good drinking, but
because
yeah.
it wouldn't come back again if it was
Yeah,
horrible.
yeah,
It would
yeah,
it almost like, and that's really annoying, is because this was our good stuff and we always liked
yeah,
it. We never, but now all these new people like it. Now it's like, what's going on there? No, this
yeah.
is our Yingling.
No. It's like what it is for me. Like the comment
That's
that he
funny
said.
though. That's funny
It's
because, sorry, no, I just think that
yeah,
hasn't happened in Ireland.
no,
Like we have loads of well, not loads of, but we obviously have beer brands that are just as old as that and not
right.
older.
Yeah, sure.
But none of our ones that were older ones have become
Uh-huh.
cool again. Like Thomas talking about Smittix there.
Yeah.
Smittix has never come back because it's not an IPA, or and Harp has never come back and be cool again.
Hmm.
It's only like the things that have come in are all new. Like it's all the new IPAs, and so
Hmm.
what you have now is all like companies, like the older companies now trying to catch up,
Hmm.
like Guinness making an IPA, or making like Guinness have tried to make lager. Guinness have been trying to make
Oh, I
lager
saw
for
that.
about
Yeah.
25 years now.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Guinness,
they do. Guinness does have a lager now. Yeah.
oh, they've no, this is they launched Guinness Bio, they launched Guinness White, they launched
Yeah.
Guinness something else that were all, and they tried them in all the pubs, and everybody's like, what is it? It's like, it's Guinness, but it's lager. And they're like, why? And it never caught on. It never
Mm,
works.
right.
Like like the Guinness crowd that I'm talking about, that's completely, yeah, there's a completely separate Guinness hipster crowd now. Like
Mm,
18-year-old guys going to the pub, reading Samuel Beckett and reading J.M. Singh, and reading all these Irish poets, and talking about Lark, and drinking pints of Guinness in the
mhm.
oldest pub they can find. That's a real thing. Guinness hipsters are the worst kind of hipsters because, oh, I won't go in there. That has a
That's what
shit pint of
MKTEL was
Guinness.
saying. Yeah, Guinness also did some throwback stouts for the hipsters too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like Guinness hipsters are the original IPA hipsters,
Okay.
but the IPA hipsters are the guys that they listen to the hey ho bands. You know what I mean with
Right.
the hey ho bands? You're like, hey
Right.
ho, the kind of the throwback to, what was that band called? They just had a song that was just going hey ho in it. That
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
folk revival, beards, check shirts. I'm a lumberjack kind of look. I only drink the best beers. I only drink the best IPAs. That's completely kind of taken over, but none of the old brands here have gotten dragged
So
along with it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
But
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, Guinness tries Guinness, but it's Guinness. Guinness is too big.
No, I
It's
get that.
like
No,
it's like Nike. It's like Nike trying to be hip again or be cool again. It's like Apple trying to pretend they're still an indie company.
right, right,
Yeah,
right.
it's like, guys,
I get what
it's
you're
just
saying.
not going to work. Like,
I
but
get what you're
yeah,
saying.
Guinness, they try it every year, man. They try and bring out a cider, an ale, a non-alcoholic Guinness. The
That
Lumineers. That's
sounds
the
like a
band.
band from Waterford.
The Lumineers. That's what the Lumineers is, the band that I'm thinking of.
Yeah,
Do you remember that
Iceland.
band, the Lumineers?
Yeah,
They
I
had
do. I
that.
heard from Lumineers. Sure.
Yeah, they had that song, and it's just them going "Hey ho" all the time through it. But it's that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Dun, 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 dun,
yeah.
dun,
And
that
it's
song. Yeah.
and then every song for about 5 years sounded like that.
You belong with me. Yeah, that song.
No,
And that's
Guinness. Yeah, you would. Yeah, Guinness Ozan is owned by Diageo.
mhm,
Diageo is, I think, the second or third biggest. There are still people involved, but don't. There's a very rich Guinness family, but it's not actually related to that at all. But
mhm,
Diageo own Guinness, and Diageo is one of the biggest drinks companies on the planet. They own
mhm.
Smirnoff. They own they own huge brands. So Diageo, there's only really two drinks companies in Ireland: Diageo and this other company, and one, yeah, all this family owned stuff kind of
Guinness
gone.
Red. What is it? Yeah, Guinness Red. I never heard
Guinness
of
Red, that's what he's talking about. Yeah, that was like an ale that was to kind of to come out with the like with ales, bitters. Which is again a drink that nobody wants to drink. So
it. Right.
why, Guinness? Ye make Guinness. He's been doing it for 150 years.
Oh, I get
It
it. I get what you're
works.
saying. Yeah.
You know,
No, I mean,
they
like,
have so much
yeah,
money. They have to come up with new crap every year, and no one ever wants it.
yeah. No,
Be-
Yingling for the beer that I was just speaking on. Yingling. Okay, so they were established in 1829, but by 2018, the volume of sales made them. It was like the whole craft beer thing blew up, and they got, because they were like the oldest brewery, and because they were like a beer that you rarely saw, you know, out there with the marketing and everything and such, it got labeled as a craft beer. Okay. And then it blew up because it was a good beer, you know?
yeah,
So now it's like the sixth largest brewery in America. And it's wholly like, it's like all American owned. It's like, the DG Yingling and his son created this company, and they, like, to this day, even a Yingling is the president of the ownership, type thing. It's in Pottsville. There is no Yingling, actually. I said Yingling, Pennsylvania. I meant to say Pottsville, Pennsylvania. But it might as well be called Yingling, Pennsylvania. But like, because everything is like so oriented around the brewery. But like, yeah, the Yingling used to have, like, they have black and tans. They have an actual black and tan style. They have like a beer that's already a black and tan, mixed black and tan. It's really good
controversial.
too, by the way. It's really good. And then there's like, it's just interesting. But the other interesting part about it was what Ozan said, which was it used to not be on the West Coast. It used to not even be, for some reason, the Mississippi River was the border of where Yingling would be. You would know where you are by the fact, if you could get a Yingling, you
Yeah,
knew you
west of the
were west or
Mississippi.
east of the Mississippi River.
Yeah, you're
That's
west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I
It
even
was kind
I
of interesting.
But
Yeah.
that's always, yeah. No, not look. I'm not going to tell you the geography of your country. I
Right.
mean, you obviously know where it is, but I've that's
You've heard that before.
oh, it
Yeah.
hasn't. But I mean, even if you watch, and I was only watching it yesterday, one of these old reruns of some FBI kind of, like, that guy's wanted poster was in every sheriff's office and every post office west of the Mississippi. It
Yep.
was like, so, but yeah, it's sort of like, yeah, we kind of, other states it's different. Same like record. It'd be like with record releases. Like it was like that was released in every state east of the Mississippi. It was like, yeah, there's this weird kind of, there's that half of the country, and then there's this half of the country.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is too, because
It's
I mean, it
weird,
wouldn't
man.
be. It's just weird that was like kind of the cutoff was this Mississippi. It's like, so what do you like? You just don't want to go over the river or something?
Yeah,
It's like, what is
just too
there an
wide. Just
issue?
too wide.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Nobody
like,
wants
what
to
is
go
that
all the way
all
over
about?
that thing.
I never understood that. Yeah, it does now. You do see you can see them do a little bit more distribution on the West Coast. I've heard, at least. But yeah, it was interesting because look, when I came out here, I would love to have a Yingling right now, as the beer of my choice of being able to, because I mean, we're talking about, it used to be, this is how old I might be, but it used to be like, you could get a 6-pack of Yingling for like $5 or something. It was cheap. $5 for a Yingling for a 6-pack? That's less than $1 a beer. Are you kidding me? Yeah.
There's a disturbance in the forest west of the Mississippi, for no doubt.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Definitely.
When an angel flaps its wings.
Oh, there you go. There you go. There is a disturbance in the forest. Big up to Chris Angel and the Bajan Reds TV guys. All. So yeah, I'm going to be letting you guys go on to your final destinations. Grab a beer if you want to grab a beer.
After all that booze chat.
Yeah, exactly. After all that booze chat, maybe I'll have to go pick myself up. Maybe I'll go pour myself a Guinness just to in the spirit of, type deal. But yeah, big up to everyone in the chat. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's show. We'll be back tomorrow. Again, we'll be doing a lead-in tomorrow for the game. That's so an hour before, a little bit before, an hour or so before the game. We'll be doing the lead-in to the game. What's that?
Are you doing a watch on? Are you doing a watch on?
Yes, doing the watch along as well. Yep. So hopefully Brian can be a part of that. Hopefully you guys can be a part of that too. I can't wait to go to the pub now. Yeah, So yeah, I know I don't want. It's evening for some of you. It's only like it's not even mid-afternoon, but I guess it's past noon. So I mean, like, I guess you could say you could say, okay, it's legit.
Oh, it's well past 9 o'clock.
Drinking in the morning is not a fun thing, even though you have to partake in that sometimes when you're a Liverpool fan in America. But it's all good.
Yeah, I just say put your watch, turn off clocks. That can put your clock around. Yeah, just yeah.
Yeah, just say
think it's 3 p.m.
Yeah, see the AM, just pretend it's a PM. How about that?
When you're watching games, 3 p.m. Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Tom, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Always.
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Exactly, Tom. Exactly. But big up to everyone in the chat. Big up to all those that joined us earlier. And if you're watching this on a replay, big up to you as well. Hopefully you will put it as a notification bell on for this channel. Hopefully also you'll share this.
Sorry, and put your favorite when we're finished. Put your favorite drink in the comments, not in the chat. We need some comments.
Yes,
genuinely, I'm actually begging you to put comments.
Yes, please.
Putting comments in really helps these kind of videos. So don't put it in the chat. In the comments, if you can, put your beverage of choice when watching a Liverpool game, please. I would like to know your beverage of choice. I don't want to know now. I don't want to hear.
Don't want to know now. Put it in the comments.
Please
put your beverage of choice, and I'm gonna I'll bring that up. In our next episode. But yes, if you could put your beverage of choice when watching the Reds play. What is your beverage of choice? I'd love to know what that is. But yes, big up to everyone. Big up to everyone. We will see you guys tomorrow. Up the Reds, of course. Make sure that you definitely take care of yourselves and continue to take care of your loved ones. It's important. We all know that life is precious, so therefore, let's make a concerted effort to really do our best in watching over ourselves and also watching our loved ones in our journeys. But until tomorrow, I bid you guys fair day, fair evening, and
much love to JK. Much love to JK.
Yeah, and much love to our brother JK out there. Definitely, much love. See you guys soon. See you guys tomorrow. All right, up the Reds.
Take it easy.